Seasider Media presents The Weekly Show!
Aloha. Welcome to The Weekly Show. I'm Mr. D, and this week I'm going to be introducing you to the Ha value of excellence. My example of excellence is going to take you on a journey across the sea to South America and the Caribbean. Now, in our own culture, or in our own cultures, we have seen excellence in many different ways across our island and across our nation. But in this particular case, we're going to venture over to the Dominican Republic and to Colombia. First, I'll start with Colombia. When we think of excellence, we often think of those who achieve the highest point of performance. When you think of athletics, you could think of people like Michael Jordan. When you think of business, you could think of people like Steve Jobs. When we think of individuals that we know, we may think of the person next to us getting really good grades. When we think of cultural excellence, it tends to evolve significantly. When we look at Colombia, as you'll see in some of the slides that will be playing, you'll see a lot of pictures of beautiful art. The tragic story behind most of this art, that is now a big sign of excellence, is at one point this art was suppressed. Majority of this art is indigenous art and Afro-Colombian art, basically. And when you look at these buildings that are all across the slums, to change the culture in those areas, they allowed people and the government promoted people by providing them with paint and building some incentive for artists to come to those communities and paint those areas and putting murals that represented the best of their people. And so on this one particular slide you see right here, you'll see an old man, a chief to his own right, and a beautiful, probably middle-aged woman. Now the middle-aged woman represents Mother Earth. The chief is actually someone who led their tribe, led that area. He was a community leader. But sadly, like many great community leaders, in our case, we can think of JFK or Martin Luther King, this man died. Now, in his excellence, he led his people. He led this area to be inspired to change. Now, this particular community, you can't see the full picture here, but this particular community was one of the most dangerous areas of Bogota, Colombia. This area is one of those areas where you heard about in movies where you go to and someone would kidnap you and put you up for ransom. But now, obviously, I was in that community during this time. The community is starting to flourish. Business is flourishing. And as well, people in that community are extremely welcoming and are showing their excellence every day. I wish I had more footage, but this is just one example of how a community evolved to bring back their roots in presenting those who led in the past and those who show that of the original people across the landscape of their city. Now, when you move to Dominican Republic, this was a little more personal for me, being an Afro-Tiano person. If you're Dominican, if you're Puerto Rican, if you are Cuban, then you're Afro-Tiano. Tiano is the native people of that area. Afro are the slaves that they brought in, and you're Spanish as well too. In this particular area, this is called Trade Square. If you're seeing in the slide right now, I'm probably talking about it. But there's a very unique dynamic takes place here. It's a beautiful place, people come together. But at one point, it is likely that my ancestors were sold in that area. My other ancestor sold my Afro ancestor, and my other ancestor probably murdered my Tiano ancestor. And so when we look at this little, this square that you're talking about where people would trade bodies, basically, now it is a place of festivity, of food, of gathering. They have changed the culture in that area to represent something so prominent and proud where people come together, they have their celebrations there, they eat together, they take pictures together. When it comes to Spanish people have a Sweet 16, but it's not called Sweet 16, and they do it at 15. Whenever you get to that part of your life, generally you'll take your pictures there. It's a point of celebration now. And so when we think of cultural excellence, a lot of time we have to consider that it's constantly evolving. And a big part of allowing it to evolve is knowing your past. For me, I showed my excellence by going back to where I came from, way before I ever knew. And I went there and I embraced these cultures. And I also went to a culture that I did not know as much. And I embraced how they transformed and have gone beyond their challenges. And so when you're thinking about your week, your life, what we've gone through here in Hawaii, remember the artifacts of our past can be present in who we are now because they inform who we are now. But you inform where you're going. Be excellent. Time for announcements.
This week is a Gold Friday. Get your dog tags from your homeroom teacher from now on if you want to participate in Friday. Secondary report cards have been mailed out. Elementary report cards will be mailed out today, 1/19. And please, students, don't leave your brown bags in the classrooms. If you don't want them, just let us know and we'll come and take them. Have a great week.
This week's lunch menu is Shoutouts this week goes to
Shoutouts! I'd like to give a great big shout out to Jill Doying, who has successfully secured a grant for our school in collaboration with the Department of Wildlife and Forestry. It's called the Ulupona Grant, and it will allow our students to raise animals, complete animal husbandry classes, and also plant and grow trees. So this is an awesome opportunity for our school and for our community, and she's done a great job in securing the grant funding for this. Way to go, Jill! Whoop whoop!
That's our show this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to the team for making these amazing videos every week, and show your excellence. See ya.